guys, it's Abella here, and welcome to my first official book talk / reviews. I literally have thought about wanting to do this kind of series for literally the longest time, but I haven't really had the chance, motivation, or slightest idea of how I want to do this. It's hard when life gets in the way of everything, and it's not easy to do things these days when you're an adult. So when it comes to reading, it's kind of been hard. But I'm slowly trying to work my way back into reading. The only time I was only ever able to read is when I go to the gym, in which I finished like 5 books by then, but that was last year. So I do want to do this kind of new thing to start the new year, and I know it's February, but I guess better late than never. I haven't really had the chance to make this video because there's just been a lot going on, and I don't want to bore you guys with anything. I know reading isn't really a topic that most people enjoy. I know a lot of people, literally I think the majority of people really do not like to read, so it's hard to find those that will actually stay and watch this video, because not a lot of people like reading or books or anything like that, and I don't really understand why, because there's a plethora of genres out there that you can enjoy and experience and get sucked into another world and have fun. Like, reading's not boring, especially if you find the right book that you like to read. Like, especially for me, I love to read, I love to write, all that good shit. So I was never picky about what I read. As long as it was interesting to me, I'll enjoy anything. That goes for like animes and TV shows too. Like, if someone suggests to me, oh, you should watch this, I think you'll like it, I'll look into it and I'll probably watch it. I'm one of those people that keep an open mind when it comes to any of that stuff. So yes, I will be reviewing the books that I have that I previously read a while ago. The ones that I read a month ago. Some of these books, I do have an entire box full of books that I have finished over the course of like 5-7 years. But a lot of the memory and retaining of what that book was about, I'm probably not gonna remember, so I might have to reread those, which is fine because it'll give me like a new perspective of that book, which will be pretty interesting. So yes. Sorry. I still don't really quite know what to kind of say in these videos, so I'm kind of sorry if this gets a little bit off topic. I still do hope that you enjoy anyways. So yeah. So the first book that I want to review is a book called The Laws of the Skies. It's by Gregory Couturiers. He's a French author. But it's translated by Rhonda Mullins because I think this does take place in France. So it is a European book. I had just finished this a couple days ago. It's a very light read. It only has 148 pages, so it's not very long, and it's cut down by sections, which is pretty interesting, and like a good stopping point for when you get tired of it. But I wasn't exactly sure what to expect this book. I had made a book Instagram, so if you want to go follow that, that's down in the description. And I also joined a library group on Facebook because I like joining groups and seeing what people are into. And I had suggested for people to comment what horror books I should read, because if I read more horror books, I think that would give me more in the motivation to write my horror books, which has been working. I finished the first chapter of 2 of my horror books, which is pretty nice. Which you can follow my horror Wattpad too, which is also down in the description. So yeah, this book was suggested to me, and I got pretty interested because, well, we'll find out. So it says, once upon a time, a class of 6-year-olds heads into a forest for a camping trip. The innocent children play games where they imagine monsters everywhere. The creaking of trees becomes a growl, a tree trunk becomes an ogre. But this fairy tale doesn't have a happy ending. Monsters really do exist. Accidents, illness, the murderous impulses of a classmate, one by one, happily ever after, evaporates for the children and their chaperones, as one by one, like all nature's creatures, they must learn the laws of the skies. Unflinching in its savagery, the nightmarish poetry of this modern Lord of the Flies is undeniable. Far from being an exercise of idle cruelty, this wicked novel plumbs the darkest reaches of childhood fears and finds plenty to be afraid of. So, I wasn't quite sure what to expect when reading this book. I'm not sure how I want to go about reviewing it because I don't want to put spoilers in case people do want to read it. But I feel like I should explain what I read, so if you do... I don't know, I'm trying to figure this out as I go, so I apologize if it kind of gets choppy and sloppy. So yeah. I wasn't really sure what to expect from reading this. I didn't think much about it until I began reading. It was like the first couple of pages, it was, oh, all these children are gonna go on a camping trip. Let's see what happens. And bear in mind, they're 6-year-olds. What the hell did you think 6-year-olds are capable of? It's also funny because it starts out with this little monologue, or this little prologue. Is that the beginning of it? Where it's like, oh, the mom and dad say goodbye to their children as they, get time off school and go camping and have fun. But then it's like the ending, it's just like, and there you have it, the children went on their way and they would never return. And yeah, the more I kept reading, the more fucked up it had become over time. Because slowly, it literally starts to slowly get rid of everybody one by one. Like, it starts off with one of the mothers that was a chaperone feeling sick, so she had to go home, in which another woman had called her husband to pick her up, in which he started thinking of having an affair with this other woman that wasn't his wife, and they were the first to be killed off. Spoilers, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out as I go. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and then from there, it kind of slowly gets worse. Literally, it's like one thing after another. It just keeps on getting like more intense as it goes, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy to just have this one author brutally explain in drastic detail of not only killing off 6-year-olds, but having one of them murder people. Like, I get that children can be quite ruthless, but I didn't know until this book. I guess it's not really like, it doesn't really surprise me, because it also explains to the one that is on a murdering spree, it explains why he is the way he is. So you kind of are just like, oh, yeah, makes sense. So you kind of get the gist of it as you read on, but just the way that it goes and it slowly literally kills off everybody one by one. Now, bear in mind that this is a class full of 12 children, 1 teacher, and 2 mothers. So you have a lot of people. Literally, I guess, big spoiler, literally nobody survives. Like, it was intense and very fucked up the way that everyone had just been killed off. But I genuinely was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I had no idea where this was going and had no idea how this was going to end. I literally thought at least there was going to be someone to tell the tale Nope. There's no one to tell the tale, which means police are never gonna figure out what the fuck happened on this camping trip, and all the bodies are just scattered around this forest. And this is why I'm glad that I never went on any camping trips as a child. I did outdoor school, but that was middle school, and you were, what, 12 at that time? So I think I got out easy. I did rate this. I think I rated this a 10 out of 10 just because of how grotesque it is. And then you just have to keep in mind that they're 6-year-olds. 6! They're not that big! And a lot of it, because I was at, my friend's house, and I'm just like, I'm reading this, and I'm just like, I'm explaining this to them, and they're just like, what the fuck? They're just like, they're all like confused with me, and I just keep telling them just like what happens, and I'm just like so intrigued the entire time. I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? So I genuinely did enjoy this book. Again, it was a light read. It took me, despite it taking me a couple days to get into and read. If you were to read this, you could probably read it in one sitting, in one day, if you're motivated enough. But it is a really good book. I suggest you go read it for yourself, despite the spoilers that I have just mentioned. I'll try not to do that for the next book that I read. But yeah, you can got this at Barnes & Noble. You can probably get this pretty much anywhere. Amazon would probably be better if you want it cheaper. But I do highly suggest it if you want to find out what happens. In grotesque ways of 6-year-olds. But yeah, no, this kept me on the edge of my seat, and I'm really glad that I bought it because I went through my books on my birthday to see which ones I was actually going to keep and which ones I was going to buy later. So I'm glad this one was the option to keep. So yeah, there's that. I'm still trying to figure out how this goes, so bear with me, please. So yeah, be sure to go pick up a copy and read it for yourself. And then once you do read it, let me know what you think down in the comments. And yeah, my next book that I am currently trying to read is a book called 10 Pound. Another book that was suggested to me on my Facebook group. And yeah, my Facebook group. It's about an attempt to make sense of his own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories. A man begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventures of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds it a forms of tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of it all, you will wish that you could forget what he never knew. So that'll be pretty interesting. I just got into it, so we will see how that goes for next time. You enjoy the first episode to this series. I'm still trying to figure it out as I go, so bear with me. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to go follow my horror stuff or book stuff, that'll be down in the description. And if you have any book suggestions that you think I might enjoy horror-wise, or anything else that you have read in the past, leave it down in the comments. I love you guys, and I will see you guys later.